It took me 12 attempts to get this intro just right, and Samsung just 3 to get me to daily drive a foldable smartphone. Hi, my name is Ershad, you're watching MySmartPrice, and this is my deep dive review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, a phone when you need it and a tablet when you want it. But before we move on, it takes a lot of effort to create videos like these, and we do it just for you guys. So please support our work by hitting that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever we put out an awesome new tech video, because we're trying to get to 100k really soon and we definitely do need all your support. While I waxed eloquent about the design of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 in my first impressions video, which if you haven't watched yet should pop up right now in the I button, I did notice that in my extended usage, this is the very first time that I did not baby a foldable smartphone. Yes, the Fold 2 was a pretty solid upgrade too, especially in terms of structural rigidity. But the Fold 3 offers an added layer of comfort by offering ingress protection, a stronger armored aluminium frame, and Gorilla Glass Victus protection on the rear panel plus cover display. Now the hinge mechanism feels pretty solid and has the right amount of resistance to make the opening and closing feel reassuringly good. Now I took it on a recent trip to Jaipur for a short break with my friends, and I realized that I wasn't really worried about the folding and unfolding mechanism of the phone, and I was doing it quite often actually. In fact, Samsung also assures us by saying that this Fold 3 is guaranteed to last at least up to 200,000 or 2 lakh unfolding and folding mechanisms. Plus, the IPX8 rating means you can use it in the rain or a pool without having to worry about water damage. This must have been really hard for Samsung to engineer. Additionally, after having used the Gorilla Glass Victus protection on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, I really wasn't worried too much about dropping the Fold 3 either, because my S21 Ultra has easily survived many falls on hard concrete floors without not even a single scratch to show for it. Moving on, I did expect Samsung to reduce the space between the two halves of the display, but it seems like there's some more time for that to happen. Although I do like the fact that Samsung has rounded off the edges even more, making it easier to use. That said, it is still pretty heavy when folded, not the easiest phone to carry around in your pocket. Plus, when the phone is unfolded, it is near impossible to use it with one hand. You will need two hands to operate it properly. However, I do like the fact that the fingerprint scanner is embedded into the power button and it is easy to reach, but the volume rocker is actually placed above it and you cannot change the volume without doing some hand gymnastics. The tactile feedback on both the buttons is pretty good though. Now, I do definitely like the stereo speaker setup on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. The only issue is that you will invariably cup the speakers when you hold the phone in landscape position and end up muffling the sound. There is a very easy fix for it though, just hold it inverted. In any case, it sounds loud, crisp, and there is a very wide stereo separation as well, which sounds fantastic. Plus you get Dolby Atmos support, so that's good as well. It's a very good multimedia experience on this phone. Now, considering that a lot of people still don't have a folding phone in their hands, it is still a novelty, and my friends who are generally not tech nerds were also pretty enamored by what this phone could do. The attraction is very real. As for the display, you get two of those on this phone. It's not a normal phone, you see. Now, so what's new? Well, you get a brighter outer display with an upgraded 120Hz refresh rate, up from 60Hz on the Fold 2. What's interesting to note is that the inner display is also much brighter now. Obviously, the S21 Ultra can go brighter in my brightness test, but for a foldable, this is very good progress. Now, I found the max brightness of the outer display and the inner display plenty bright for outdoor usage. Plus, with the 100% sRGB support in the natural mode and settings, you do get very close to accurate color reproduction as well, which is very good. But there are two inconveniences that you will have to live with. Firstly, the crease is still pretty apparent, and secondly, the new under-display camera tech has much bigger pixels compared to the regular display pixels. Therefore, against a white or a black background, you will notice that it is immediately visible. That's it, both these problems really don't bother me at all. Plus, if you want to go back to a hole punch cutout, you can do so from the developer settings. It's damn easy. One of the things Samsung does is add a very good screen protector on the cover and the internal display. Now, the internal display screen protector is actually very good, and Samsung actually advises against removing it, because if you do remove it, the S Pen won't work with the display beneath the screen protector. The screen protector has actually been tuned to work with the S Pen, special S Pen for the Fold. Which brings me to the exclusive S Pen support on the Fold 3. You cannot use the Note 20 Ultra's S Pen though. That is because Samsung has made a special S Pen for the Fold that will work with the soft plastic panel. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't get a unit of the S Pen in time for the review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. What I'll do is, as soon as I get it, I'll definitely experience it and share my thoughts in the comment section below. Now, the one main reason why I'm actually considering a switch to the foldable form factor is because Samsung has made really good software tweaks to actually enhance the usage experience of the inner display. You do get very similar to a tablet experience. In fact, it's almost the same. Starting with the fact that Samsung has increased the DPI from 589 to 673 now. What this means is that there are far more tablet apps available for the internal display. For example, I really didn't expect the Apple Music app to be tailor-made for the Fold 3's internal tablet display. Similarly, many other third-party apps such as Google Docs, which I use regularly, Gmail, Feedly, YouTube, and more offer enhanced experiences on the internal screen. Even Chrome offers a row of tabs on the top, just like you would experience on a laptop. Pretty cool. And it goes without saying that Samsung also offers app continuity for many apps now. You can open the app and use it from where you left off, on the cover display after you folded it, and the internal display after you've unfolded it. There's flex mode as well now, but I genuinely prefer it on the Galaxy Z Flip 3 instead, but it could come in handy while making Google Duo calls though. One of the Samsung app features I really enjoyed using is the option to pin the edge panel to the side. You can use it like Microsoft Windows' taskbar. It does take up some vertical pixels, but the experience is damn awesome, because you can also directly drag and drop an app icon from the edge panel on the opened app to open it in multi-window mode. By the way, the multi-window mode is also pretty useful. You can use 3 apps at once and add 5 pop-out windows on top of it. It is particularly useful for someone like me who likes to control his playlist while browsing through Twitter or reading an article and also looking at the mails at the same time. Now, one of the things you should know, however, is that most third-party keyboards don't work well or are not tuned right. But I really like Samsung's keyboard and I have no problem using it on the Fold 3. Plus, the haptic feedback is fantastic, so there's nothing to really worry about there either. By the way, I'm super duper happy to report that I didn't encounter a single ad in my time with the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. No, not even one of those notifications which push you to buy the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra while you're using your, Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. A very Karthik calling Karthik-like situation. Now, there are 5 cameras in total on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. 3 12-megapixel shooters on the rear, primary, ultra-wide and 2x telephoto. And there's the 4-megapixel UDC under-display camera on the inner display, plus 10-megapixel selfie camera on the cover display. The only difference in the camera setup from the Z Fold 2 is that you now get optical image stabilization on the telephoto setup. That is it. Now, while I'm not expecting too much from the camera performance of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, I did decide to run an experiment and quickly check the camera performance against another phone that costs about 1,50,000, which is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Here are the results. Now, starting with the details, Samsung clearly goes for an over-sharpened look to, compensate for the slightly inferior sensor quality. The iPhone 12 Pro Max's details are extremely natural. Plus, the color of the blue sky and the green foliage reproduced by the iPhone 12 Pro Max is closer to what my eyes saw. In fact, in my second image, looking just at the color accuracy, the iPhone tends to make the image slightly warmer than natural, but the Galaxy Z Fold 3 makes it extremely cool. Both the white points are off, but the iPhone 12 Pro Max is closer to reality. Plus, the reproduction of the blue denim color of the cushion and the reds on the books are nearly identical too. Samsung's processing does create the distinctly oversaturated look. Now, where the iPhone 12 Pro Max just sucker punches the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is in HDR performance. Now, this is where I tell you, pictures speak far louder than words. From the fantastically well exposed building to the absolutely gorgeous dynamic light play in the evening sky, the iPhone 12 Pro Max's image stacking algorithm is just way better. Now, the two 12 megapixel ultra wides on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the Galaxy Z Fold 3 are very good at maintaining the color sense parity with the main camera. And thankfully, with the ultra wide, Samsung doesn't over sharpen as much. So detail retention is similar on both the phones. But thanks to the more accurate colors, I'd go with the iPhone 12 Pro Max here. Now, if you can fix the colors in post, then it is basically a tie between the two. Now, as for the telephoto, again, Samsung tends to over sharpen the details. Plus, the iPhone 12 Pro Max can go slightly closer with its 2.5x lens as opposed to the 2x magnification possible on the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Plus, the colors are completely off on the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Portrait mode shots on both Samsung and Apple flagships have always been great. However, in this shot, you can clearly tell that the iPhone 12 Pro Max's skin tone is very good, as Samsung tends to, overexpose. But the edge cutout is generally better on the Galaxy Z Fold 3 with far better outlines. Now, as for the selfies, let's get one thing out of the way. The UDC is absolutely useless for this purpose. But there are two more options, so it doesn't really matter at all. And since you can actually take a selfie with the primary camera, you're bound to get better looking selfies using the Galaxy Z Fold 3. What I noticed with the iPhone 12 Pro Max is the selfies have a warm tone to them. On the contrary, the Z Fold 3 has a cool temperature, which also affects the blues in that it actually makes it deeper. Details and noise performance though are very similar, and at the end of the day it is a matter of which look you prefer. Low-light photography is a vital part of any flagship camera performance. I really love how Apple approaches low-light photography with its smart algorithm that detects the light available and cranks up the shutter speed to capture a very natural recreation of the scene. You can see how the night mode cranks up the saturation of the Galaxy Z Fold 3's image compared to the non-night mode. And with night mode on, you get far better detail retention on the iPhone compared to the soft details on the Z Fold 3, as is evident from the second image. Clearly, I'd pick the iPhone 12 Pro Max for better low-light shots. Between the two phones, the iPhone 12 Pro Max takes far more natural-looking low-light selfies. I don't even need to explain why, the pictures speak for themselves. As far as video recording using the rear camera or the front camera is concerned, both the phones can shoot in 4K 60 FPS. But the iPhone 12 Pro Max's quality is just way better. Fantastic color accuracy, supreme dynamic range, slightly better audio recording, and most importantly, the capability to shoot directly in Dolby Vision format. This is one area where the Galaxy Z Fold 3 definitely cannot match up. 4K 60 FPS video using the rear camera on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. So now I'm recording a 4K 60 FPS video using the front camera on the Galaxy Z Fold 3's cover display and the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now, while the iPhone 12 Pro Max definitely has the better camera system compared to the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, I don't think that this foldable from Samsung is actually bad for photography or anything. If anything, I actually used it extensively during my trip to Jaipur and managed some really gorgeous shots with the phone. And if you can edit in post, these phones offer the option to shoot in RAW as well. Additionally, the bigger tablet display makes it easier to compose a shot too. If you are a sucker for a great flagship camera experience, I'd suggest going for the iPhone 12 Pro Max or the Mi 11 Ultra or the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Otherwise, the Z Fold 3 will work just fine. One of the good things about the Fold and Flip lineup is Samsung uses the top-of-the-line Snapdragon 888 system-on-chip across the globe. You can expect great flagship-grade performance. The only time the phone stuttered is when I ran 3 apps in multi-view mode and added a pop-up window or two to stress the processor. Else the phone flies through daily tasks. Now, the benchmark numbers for tests like Antutu, Geekbench and 3D Mark are not the best, but they are comparable with other Snapdragon 888 flagships. Plus, UFS 3.1 storage read-write speeds are great too. But you guys know what I love checking, and that is the sustained performance, and that is where Samsung does a few things differently. One look at the CPU throttle and 3D Mark wildlife stress test scores clearly indicates that Samsung tends to throttle the performance to ensure the phone doesn't get hot. And I did notice that the phone does run cool for the most part, but it does so at the expense of performance. Now, if you're playing Call of Duty for 30 minutes, it won't make much of a difference because that game is not that demanding, but Genshin Impact is bound to stutter a bit because it is far more demanding. So don't expect a great sustained performance from this phone. Now, as far as network connectivity on this premium foldable flagship is concerned, Samsung doesn't pull any stops. You get support for 4G carrier aggregation, almost every single 5G band that you can think of, and Wi-Fi 6E to top it off. It's just a global phone through and through. The slightly smaller 4400 mAh split battery inside the Galaxy Z Fold 3 lasts about 5 hours of screen on time on regular usage. You can stretch it to a day's worth of usage though. Now the only consolation here is that the Galaxy Z Fold 3's battery life is the better of the two foldable phones that Samsung has launched this year. The Z Flip 3's battery life is really bad. I could barely manage 3 hours of screen on time. I found it actually unusable for 2021. That's, it doesn't even last a day's worth of usage. The Z Fold 3 is definitely better in that regard. Now the Z Fold 3 also supports 25 watt charging speeds compared to 15 watt on the Z Flip 3. It takes about an hour and 45 minutes to charge the 4400 mAh battery from 0 to 100. Again, phones from OnePlus, Xiaomi charge much faster. Now when I sum up my experience with the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, you're going to start wondering, why am I even considering switching to this phone? It doesn't have the best display, it doesn't have the best performance, it doesn't even have the best cameras. And that is something that we've come to expect as, default on a phone that costs rupees 1,50,000. But it does come really close in all of these parameters and offers you a dual screen, dual device experience that is completely unmatched at the moment and literally changes the way you use a smartphone. All that bulk and all the inconveniences in the form of the UDC and the crease all vanish by the wayside when you start using this phone cum tablet. More than the improvements Samsung has made to the hardware, I'm really glad about the software experience that you get with the inner display and with the brave attempt at introducing a lot of tablet specific features in the Samsung Labs setting, which actually elevates the experience of using the tablet on this phone. Now, I would go as far as to say that this is one of the best tablet experiences, Android tablet experiences that you can get right now. And the charm of using the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is that when you don't want that tablet experience, you get a perfectly usable phone. Now, regular candy bar premium smartphone like the iPhone 12 Pro Max, the Mi 11 Ultra, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra do offer better cameras, some may offer better performance, some may offer better displays, but can they morph into a tablet when you need it? Now, it's not like the Galaxy Z Fold 3 doesn't have its issues, but you know what? All of those are genuinely minor niggles, something that I can definitely overlook when I am looking at the overall experience of using this smartphone. This right here with the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is the beginning of a foldable future for me. All I'm doing now is waiting for the Oppo X rollable concept to actually become a reality. Well, that's it from me. My name is Ershad. I hope you guys like this deep dive review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. Do let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. Until next time, goodbye and Godspeed, my friends.